Hello, my name is Dirtsheet Dave. We are coming to you live from sunny Stamford, Connecticut, and this is the wrestling news from this week. There's been a lot of talk internally about what to do with Michael Cole once his current storyline with Jerry Lawler comes to an end. Well, it appears as if WWE have settled on who they want Michael Cole's next opponent to be. Believe it or not, and you probably won't, WWE recently offered a full-time contract to Rick Ockberger, aka the WWE Sign Guy. Sign Guy is a regular on programming, appearing on pretty much every episode of Raw, SmackDown and most of the pay-per-views over the last few years, and has managed to gain quite a cult following. Realising this, WWE have decided to capitalise on his fame and sign him up. Currently, plans have him set to feud with Michael Cole over the summer. The heel announcer has been billing himself as the voice of the WWE, and it's thought that the Sign Guy could thus be called the voice of the WWE Universe. The two are currently set for a match at Hell in a Cell, and the general consensus is that this would be a big enough story for the two to fight it out within the cell itself as the main event. Cody Rhodes is currently in the doghouse following a disagreement with Vince McMahon over the direction of his character. Apparently Vince wanted Cody to undergo facial reconstruction surgery in order to disfigure his face for real. Vince feels the psychological based gimmick will never get over as it's too subtle, and Vince is starting to insist that Cody legitimately disfigure himself. However, Cody has thus far chosen to ignore this advice and has thus been labelled selfish, arrogant and unwilling to work within the confines of his agreement with WWE. Dirtsheet Dave tips that Cody Rhodes will likely be released by the middle of the summer. Current plans for Cara actually have him in line for a high-profile championship match at SummerSlam. This was teased on the April 18th episode of Raw when he tagged with John Cena to face The Miz and Alex Riley. Quite a big match for someone only with the company a few weeks. Inside sources inform me that during contract negotiations, Cara, real name Mystico, actually managed to have the main event spot of SummerSlam written into his contract. However, even a blind fan will have noticed that he's been regularly making mistakes in his matches since debuting, struggling with his entrance, failing to connect with various finishers, and generally having the least impressive debut since the Shockmaster. This was a massive reason for his recent move to SmackDown, which is taped in advance and thus allows the company to edit out all botches from the final product. There's actually been quite a bit of internal discussion about replacing Mystico with another wrestler for a few months, Vince McMahon believing that when under a mask, people won't realise if they change the person playing the character. The hope would be that this would give the real Cara a chance to go down to training facilities in FCW and learn how to wrestle the WWE way, while not actually having to write off the character, thus cutting down on the number of edits necessary. Names being discussed to become the second Cara are Eli Cottonwood, Michael Tarver, and Rey Mysterio, who could pull double duty on some shows if necessary. However, it would appear as if the front runner for the position is actually Zack Ryder, who has managed to gain quite a bit of support with his YouTube video series, The True Long Island Story. There have been quite a few people pushing for Ryder to get a bigger role within the company, but Vince believes the damage has been done to his character and people won't buy him as a credible threat. However, there's the belief that if they put the Sin Cara mask on Ryder, they may actually kill two birds with one stone, getting Ryder on TV while protecting the Sin Cara character they've spent quite a bit of time and money on hyping. TNA are currently considering changing their name according to internal sources, with many of the higher-ups believing that the innuendo they currently use is tacky and counterintuitive to their desire to become a global phenomenon. There's been regular brainstorming ideas to try and think up of new names for the company, with Impact Pro Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Impact top of the list. However, both of these may cause legal problems, as the first is already being used by a New Zealand-based company with a higher number of fans than the Florida promotion, and the second clashes with Pro Wrestling Illustrated, which uses the same initials. Other names being considered are World Class Wrestling, Back to the Future Wrestling, Brother Wrestling, High Octane Great Action Nightly Wrestling, Brother Wrestling Cage, and maybe the problem isn't the name, but the fact you try and copy everything WWE does and imitate them while pretending you are an alternative. Your booking makes no sense, you treat your wrestlers like dirt while paying Hogan and pals a crazy amount of money, driving your promotion into the ground. Wrestling. It's a bit of a mouthful though, but we'll keep you up to date on possible names as they crop up. And now for our viewers' question of the week. Martin from Andover, England asks, What exactly is in the briefcase that A-Rai carries around with him? Yes, this has been the subject of some heated debates. While accompanying his mentor, The Miz, to the ring, Alex Riley tends to be seen with a briefcase in hand. Back when Miz was Money in the Bank holder, A-Rai would be tasked with carrying around the contract supposedly held within. However, since it was cashed in and Miz became champion, A-Rai has started carrying a plain briefcase around, with its contents never fully explained. I asked around backstage to see if there was any particular reason for the briefcase, and I received a variety of answers. Depending on who you were talking to, the case may contain his hair gel, a collection of Miz shirts to sell to passing fans, Zack Ryder's push, a brick, a smiley face button and a revolver, Ric Flair's ever-dwindling dignity, a whole lot of alcohol, the broken dreams of those who grew up during the Attitude Era, the interior of a TARDIS which he rides to and from each show in, the symbiotic pants of Chris Benoit, a bright glowing orange light, Mike Knox's beard, or his own wrestling talent which has been missing thus far. Of course, when I contacted Vince McMahon himself and put the question to him, he kindly replied, "Whatever you want it to be." Which I personally think is quite an intelligent idea for a wrestling show, since it allows our imaginations to run wild. That's all for this week. My name is Dirtsheet Dave, and please note that all discussed here today is subject to change and may or may not actually be true. Thanks for listening.